do you find bookkeeping clients without using social media? In this episode, we're going to talk to you about level 1, level 2, level 3. This is exactly where you can get started with finding clients offline.
Welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast, sponsored by Xero.
So, Jo, I love social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know this. I love it so much that we white labeled a piece of software which is called Journal, which, just small plug, because you know we're allowed to do that on our own podcast, is a social media tool for bookkeepers, because we know that bookkeepers struggle so much with this. But lots of people don't like to use social media, or that isn't the first way for them to find clients. And lots of people say they find their clients through word of mouth and things like that. And we wanted to talk about ways that you could strategically make sure that you have the best chance of being found locally as a bookkeeper.
And I think this is really important anyway, regardless of if you choose to do what we're going to talk about today and then add social media on top later. But this is kind of like, you need to do this regardless of how else you are marketing yourself.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about like level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Very first thing anyone who is a bookkeeper needs to be doing right now, if they have, like, literally stop this recording right now. You need to make sure that your friends and family, those people who are close to you, really understand what you do, what that means, and who you do it for.
Absolutely. They need to understand who you help, why you help them, why they need that help, but in like the simplest terms, like as if you're explaining it to an 8-year-old. If your closest friends and family don't understand what you do and who you help, they can't help you, but they'd love to be able to help you because they're like your biggest cheerleaders. They want to see you succeed, but sometimes they feel like they've got their hands tied behind their back because they might talk to someone and they're thinking, oh, I'm sure Zoe could help them with that, but I can't exactly explain what it is that she does, and I don't really know, is she a bookkeeper, is she an accountant, what's the difference, who does she help, how does she help them? So we need to break it down into these really simplistic terms so that the people closest to us can be our biggest champions.
They say about being able to explain what you do to a child. If the child can tell the story, and you might need to keep saying the story over and over until people understand it. In fact, I was reading a book recently. It's I've mentioned it loads of times to our community. It's by a guy called Don Miller, and it's about building a StoryBrand. And he talks about how stories, like telling a story, is the way that people remember things, which is why like stories have worked for hundreds and thousands of years, and why people drew pictures of stories on cave walls and things like this, and how if you can take people on the journey of everything was nice and calm, there was a status quo, and then something went wrong, like they didn't have any cash, or they were growing their business, or they were selling a new service, and suddenly their finances changed and it was really difficult, and then some hero comes in and sort of guides them to this great place in the future where they have the status quo again. That's where we as bookkeepers step in. But we need to find a way to break it down so that, because bookkeeping isn't everybody's business, like their job, so they're not going to understand it.
No, and we use a lot of language that isn't something that other people are comfortable with. So we have to kind of, break it down. And it's been really interesting for me because I have 3 children. My eldest, he actually worked in the business, so I hope he understands what we do. My second, she now works in another business, and she's been asked to do, things like receipts and expenses, and she has to buy milk and things, and she has to keep copies of the receipts, and she's starting to understand what that is. So when you become an adult, you kind of might have more points of reference that you can. But my youngest quite surprised me really, because she's really into her horse riding, and one day I got a phone call from her, and she was at the yard, and she said to me, Mum, I've just heard someone saying they're struggling with their invoices. You do that, don't you? You can help. And I thought to myself, okay, she didn't know exactly what it was I did, but obviously being around me and working from home, and she's always there, she knew that there was something. And then she said to me, I've told her what your name is, and I've given her your phone number, and she's going to call you. And that is what we're talking about. If somebody on that level, they might not understand the intricacies of exactly what we do, but they understand that you're the person that can help that person that's in that need.
Yeah, so we need to make sure that the people closest to us understand what we do so they can sell it for us, because they want to sell it for us. They just don't always know how to do that.
And sometimes we keep our business like a dirty little secret. It's like, oh God, I don't want to talk to anyone about it because they might judge me. But actually, that's not what people are doing. They just, if you're not a plumber or an electrician, they don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
So we've all recommended friends and family for certain things. We always do. And actually, at that level, when you're, having a coffee with someone and they say they've got an issue, we want to help somebody, and you could be that person, but they just need to understand exactly how you help them.
Yeah. Okay, so level 2 then, beyond that. So once everyone we know knows what we do, what we need to start doing then is reaching people who are like that sort of second degree connection. And I think we can do that locally by getting involved in networks, joining networking groups. I know lots of people hate that. I hate this. I hated it, going along like first time room of people I didn't necessarily know. Maybe I knew someone who knew someone and they were going and suggested. It's that kind of like introduction, isn't it?
It is. And I can understand why people would be nervous. And there's different types of networking. I mean, your networking might be, I don't know, you play tennis and you speak to people there about what it is you do. I think, to be honest, most things and events you go to and clubs and communities you're part of, most people want to understand what it is that you do. So you've got to kind of get used to saying who you are, what you do, how you help people. And if you don't have that kind of ready to, roll off the tongue, that feels nerve-wracking. But there are other things that are happening that are really supportive of local businesses, and your ideal client may be in the room or they may not, and that is also fine. And I think people miss this trick. So we hear a lot of times people say, I don't want to go to that networking event because my ideal client isn't in the room, or I wouldn't want to work with any of them. But what we need to realize is that networking isn't about finding that client in the room, that like golden egg that is going to solve all your problems. It's not about that. It's about reaching out and building a sales team, like a virtual sales team, that are going to be like, that get to know you on a level, get to know, like, and trust you, and feel that when they bump into somebody that's in need of your services, they are going to sell your services on your behalf, and you don't even know who that person is. That's what I like to think of networking as, because it takes away that pressure of feeling that you're selling to the room. What you're really doing is building relationships and getting to really know people, so that they think, oh, you're a really good person, and someone else comes up and has that need, they're like, you are front of mind.
Oh yeah, so practicing that message at level 1 with your friends and family so that they can say it for you then gives you the confidence to go into these rooms where you don't need to sell, but again, you need to make sure that they understand that message for you.
Yeah, and there are different types of networking. There are some where you have to stand up and kind of present, but there are others where they just all get together, have a drink and get to know each other, and you will find and build confidence over time, and maybe, take another friend with you, take another bookkeeper with you, and like just turn up. But the more people that have seen you, get to know your name, understand who it is that you are and what you stand for, understand your values and who you like to help, then you're just building up this network. And you just never know who's ever going to phone. This happened to me. I would end up with Facebook messages from people that would say, I met somebody and they said, you're the person I need to speak to. And I'd never met them before, but they'd done the work for me.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh, it's like you've already got that like endorsement and recommendation straight away.
Actually comes across better, doesn't it? Yeah. Than if you were to sell face-to-face to somebody, maybe. If someone else has recommended them, then they're like, oh, well, I trust them. Yeah. And if they trust you, then that feels like a really good fit.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about, I love that trust though, because you've just put us in a really great place to go on to level 3, because I think that once you've started to build that network locally, the next place is to start thinking about, okay, well, how do I now raise my authority level locally and actually give the people in my network and the friends and family something to sort of shout about a little bit.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about local press because this is such a straightforward opportunity that's available for every bookkeeper and accountant. And I've had a look through some of the papers, Jo, and I feel like we're a little bit like, if you're watching this on the video, you'll see, but if you're listening in, you won't see that it is a bit like a breakfast news.
Yes.
We're going to go through the stories
like
right now.
Newspaper roundup kind of thing. Yeah. What are the headlines today?
Yeah. Do you want to know the headlines in South Wales yesterday?
I'd love to know the headlines in South Wales from yesterday. What have you got for me?
So I brought with me 3 newspapers. I live in a little corner of South Wales that they call Gwent. I like to think of it as the Kingdom of Gwent, and even though that isn't a thing anymore. And I also found down in our lovely podcast studio, your video team film our podcast for us. It's like they knew we were coming to talk about this topic. They had 2 copies of Inside Kent, which is like a free local magazine.
So we've got Gwent and Kent.
Gwent. We got Gwent and Kent happening. It's very different types of things. But I think like what I wanted to talk about today is how, first of all, how this is an opportunity. I want to talk about like
that we don't think about and we don't think is available to us. But when we start reading some of these, I think we're going to realise that it is an easier opportunity than maybe we think it is.
I think the thing is, right, local journalists, and if you're a local journalist and you're listening to this, please feel free to correct me, but I feel that local journalists are potentially quite time poor, don't have a lot of resources, and if you're able to get a press release in their hands with something that is community focused and relevant to their audience, they're going to be interested in reading it. If you can make their job really easy for them, I think this is an easy way to get some free advertising. And whose mum doesn't want them to be in the paper?
Oh, absolutely.
I know. So let's talk about that. First of all, tell you a little bit about the great news that's happening in our area in South Wales. Because I feel like, Jo, everyone should just move to Wales. There's clearly no crime. But the things that make the paper, I think it's quite surprising. Like I feel like I'm kind of joking when I'm talking about this, but it just screams to me that this should be really easy. If bookkeepers can't get themselves in the local paper, I said to you in our team chat, I will quit.
Oh. Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
But there's a really sort of standard format for newspapers and magazines. And like you could see this actually really well in the Inside Kent magazine. When you go through this magazine, you'll find every month has a similar kind of layout. So they have the same kind of features that come up, the same kind of stories, different angle. So in this one, they had towards the end, they've got this like business write-up where they always write about some independent businesses, and they've got like 3 independent businesses. Like one of the months it's got like some craft businesses, and then in the other magazine it's a food issue and they've got 3 like food businesses. So you know, if you're looking at a magazine that you get routinely, and it's definitely worth getting your like local magazines, if you see something like this come up and you think, well, actually, do you know what? Maybe I could pitch myself to the journalist, and I could say I'm a small like business owner. I have a professional service business. Maybe I could find 2 other complementary services that also help small businesses like mine. Like you're almost like giving them what they want.
So what you're saying is you want to be looking at the local press that you see regularly and trying to find the patterns of where you could fit into that.
Yeah.
Okay. And look out for the opportunities and think, how can I make this journalist life easier? How can I kind of go, here it is, it's ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And when I looked at the local newspapers, what I was seeing was that there's this really common, I mean, you know, newspapers tend to have this layout, don't they? They have like front news, shock, story. The first line, the headline will always be the bit that makes you see the newspaper from afar, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go and read that. Then the first paragraph will give you pretty much everything in the whole story, because when you think about how you read a newspaper article, you probably read the first few paragraphs and then give up, have turned to another page or whatever. So they need to tell you everything right up front. So they're structured in a really specific way. So you need to, obviously, if you're going to ever pitch for something like this, you need to be able to do that. But most of these stories were very much like community focus, some kind of good news story, just relevant to the reader. And as a local business owner, an independent local business owner who does stuff for local businesses in the community, you definitely have something.
So you're already set up with the right foundations to be able to pitch. That's what you're saying. Like you're in the area and you're offering something to help the community, and it can be community focused.
And all you need to do really is find something that's happened that makes this relevant for now. So like some kind of good news story. Do you want to hear some of the good news stories near me?
I'd love to.
This is my actual favourite. I'm going to start with this. I feel like I should show the newspaper to our viewers. Front page of this paper, the Monmouthshire Free Press.
It says it's free, but it says 95p. Did you pay for it?
It was 95p.
So it's not free. Lie. Okay.
Maybe free means like politically free.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's very red, but okay.
Anyway, so front page of this, there is a drug dealer in town, by the way. He's just been released and already dealing again. But there's a policeman on the front cover with a toddler. So front cover story, VIP police experience for toddler, delight for little George.
Wow.
So the story, it's on page 6.
Okay.
It's like pretty much the whole page.
Of page 6?
The whole of page 6. So the toddler got a VIP experience. So this is what happened. This is Chepstow Costa Cafe.
Right.
I've been into this Costa. I remember, like, my mum likes the cakes.
Okay.
So this kid and his mum are in the Costa. And the kid's got like loads of chocolate on his face or something. A policeman comes in, I guess, for a coffee. And the kid, and he went over to have a little chat with the cute little boy covered in chocolate, did some high fives and everything. Everyone's happy. Kid loves policeman. A few days later, the policeman goes into the Costa again. The mum's there with the kid again. And the policeman recognises the kid and then goes over and he's like chatting about being a policeman. Would you like to see the police car? Then he radioed his police colleague. And the policeman colleague turned up with his policeman car. Oh my goodness me. And anyway, the kids got to sit in the police car. They had the sirens on, passers by, thought this was like a great like community thing. And there's a comment from the mum saying, you know, my child now like loves the police, knows they're safe and all of this kind of stuff. That's the story.
Yeah. What was my take on that story?
You tell me, what was your take on that story?
The policeman fancied the mum. 100%. That is the whole reason behind that story.
The mum's not in the picture.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's not speculate. We don't like gossip, so we're not going to go there. But the story is there's a good policeman in Chepstow.
There is.
Costa got a bit of, you know, news.
Yeah.
And happy days. If you live in Chepstow, the policemen are great.
Right.
Good community story. Good news story.
Yeah.
And they had some photos that I guess the mum took on the phone that they then had with the story.
It shows that you don't need a lot of content.
No.
Yeah. But okay. I mean, did they have to go back and did the toddler have to go back with the policeman and then take a photo with the police? I mean, I want to know details because the press weren't there that day.
No, the mum must have taken those photos and sent them in with the story. And I think that's important because, you know, we always encourage, like, members of the Bookkeepers Collective, we always recommend, like, people have a professional photo shoot. Photos are important. I know it's not easy if you don't have budget or, you know, but iPhones, honestly, your mobile phone can take such good photos now. Get a friend to go outside with you and take a photo in good daylight. Like, that's all you really need to do. But having a couple of photos also makes it easier, doesn't it?
Yes.
There's some other stories in here you might like. So this one is just finalists in the Food Awards. So we're like going into event season right now. It's autumn 2025. And there are definitely bookkeepers in our community who've been shortlisted for some of the awards. I hope we'll have some winners really soon. But this is a write-up about how Monmouthshire has celebrated culinary excellence with 9 finalists in the Food Awards, including 1 in 2 categories.
And this is the thing, you don't even have to win it. You just have to be in it to get in the paper.
Exactly. So it's like there's some awards happening in South Wales, some businesses who are local, they're in the same county as this newspaper. They all get a mention.
Nice.
So that's free advertising for them.
Yeah.
It's saying this is a good business. They're good enough to be shortlisted. And I think there's loads of bookkeepers we know who have been shortlisted for awards.
Absolutely.
It's just being timely, isn't it? And just saying like it says at the end of it, winners will be announced at a ceremony on October the 6th at this particular place in Cardiff. So it's not, you know, there might be another story when someone wins one.
Yes. And a photo, maybe.
And a photo. There's another one in here about... there's a new cafe opening in Abergavenny.
Right.
It's going to create up to 20 jobs, and they got a fund boost. They got some kind of funding, and then there's like an interview with the owner, who also owns another cafe. It's a big plug for their business.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's creating jobs. So it's like community focus, good news story, investment in the area. But the business owner gets to plug their new business. And there's a photo of the business.
So we're seeing here, like, so good news is what the focus is. Like, that's what we want to do. We don't want to be going in with like negative stuff.
No.
We don't want like clickbaity stuff. So think about the good news, what opportunities you have created in your local area. Maybe you've given to charity, or maybe you've gone for an award, or maybe you've hired some local people, or I don't know, we know people that have set up networking events, or, you know, I don't know, there's so many opportunities. Maybe there's a, you know, like the Macmillan morning and you've hosted something. There are lots of things that you can do and maybe have done and haven't thought about it as being newsworthy.
Yeah, there's one here, Chris and Sue. This is in the Monmouthshire Beacon.
Right. How much did you pay for that one?
£2.
Wowzers.
This is the Forest of Dean Gazette, apparently. Covers Monmouth, Chepstow, Usk, Raglan and Wye Valley. Yeah, so I think this might be a weekly one. Anyway, Sue and Chris are attempting to do the 3 Peaks Challenge to raise some money. And they talk about raising some money.
So they're attempting.
They're attempting. And it talks about the charity they're raising money for, which is called Manes and Tails, an animal welfare group. And it talks about some of the work that they do.
Nice.
Good
so you don't
news.
even have to do the 3 Peak Challenge. You have to just attempt it.
Oh, I hope they complete it.
Oh, let's hope so.
Good luck.
Chris and Sue.
Chris and Sue, we are right behind you. My favourite story, though, Jo. I mean, I love that the Policeman and the Toddler made the front cover of that other newspaper, but this is the South Wales Argus. And I swear they're going to kick me out of Wales because I can't say the words.
Okay, this one was £1.
This was £1. It's Wales's daily newspaper of the year.
Daily newspaper?
It's a daily newspaper.
£1 a day?
I guess.
Wow.
It might be more at the weekends. I don't know. I'll have to buy it and tell you. I'll come back to this one because that's my favourite. But again, lots of stories about funding, creating jobs, good news, community focus. So one of the big news stories at the moment is that there's some funding for like defence spending, and there's a drone company who have got some funding, which is going to help them to, I don't know the exact details. I could read all this for you right now, but I won't. But I imagine this additional funding means they can make more drones and hire more people, and that's good for the economy.
So thinking with that in mind, maybe there's an opportunity as well, if you have clients where you see something good happen for them, where you could put forward a story
Totally.
for your client and say that you support them.
One of the things that's really important in a press release is putting in some kind of comment from someone of authority. So it's either like the director of such and such says, you know, this is a great thing for the economy because of blah, 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 blah. So actually a great good news story about like you supporting your client with getting a grant, which means they can create new jobs or whatever. And then the bookkeeper, so-and-so from such and such company says, this is exactly the kind of thing a great bookkeeper can be doing for a business. You know, we love like having access to information about like grants and funding and, you know, something like that like adds another angle to the story.
So you're kind of going in as the authority person in a piece about your clients. Your clients are going to love you if you help them with that.
Totally. You could have a photo of you with your client.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the things when you work from home and you might think, well, I haven't got any professional photography, or what do I even take a photo of? You with a client, with your client's logo behind you or outside their building or whatever. That could work.
100%.
I mean, it's the same over and over again. It's like, good news story, there's been like a fundraiser, or this is one where there was a takeaway. Poor guys lost their business. I think there was a fire, but they've now they've got a food van, and they've just won an award. Best Takeaway 2025. It's called Only Foods and Sauces. I'm really pleased for them.
I'm pleased for them too.
I'm going to visit them if I go to Chepstow. So Best Takeaway Award.
Nice.
Made the paper. Big photo of them, branded, shows their food truck. They're wearing their branded T-shirts.
I'd have liked to have seen the food, if I'm honest.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But this is a half page in the paper. People pay a lot of money for advertising like this.
Yeah.
It's just thinking, like, what do I need to do?
And I've noticed that at the bottom, there is a contact for the journalist.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Yeah, so most newspapers will have the name of who wrote the story, and there'll be the email address. What you find in some of the magazines, like if you look at some of the Woman and Home, and we had something in one of these kind of glossy magazines, they'll often have a list of the people who contribute to the magazine, the editors and things, and then it will tell you the format of their email addresses. So that it's so easy. I think journalists are looking for good stories, like learn how to write a press release. We talk about this actually in the marketing collection in the Bookkeepers Collective. So that's one of our sets of on-demand training in the collective. We talk about press releases. We show you how to write one. We give you a template, and we tell you exactly who to send it to, when to call them, all of that kind of stuff. But if you can write this properly and you can pitch your story, I mean, we know because it works. We've had stories in national press. You've been on BBC News.
Yeah.
I've had something in the Sunday Times. I've been in local magazines.
You've been on GB News as well.
I've been on the news as well. It's just like, just think, how can I bring an angle that is useful for the audience that they're trying to reach?
And who are the people that are going to be seeing that? And even if you may have met them at networking and they're like, oh, you're in the paper, or you know, family and friends are going to like shout about it and say, oh my goodness, so-and-so's in the paper. Like, it's such a kind of brand of authority, and like, I don't know, it's just like third party. Yeah. Somebody saying, you are really good at what you do. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I know I was talking about this with some of our members of the Bookkeepers Collective, and one of the other things is most of this print news goes online, so it lives on. So think about your mum or your auntie sharing the story. They're going to share it on, which helps you again with that credibility. But also these websites will have a higher from SEO, search engine optimization ranking than your website potentially will, because they're a trusted source of on the internet. And if they are linking to your website, that helps your score on search results, because you're getting those backlinks. Exactly. So there are lots of reasons to do this. We use ChatGPT a lot to do like deep research. If you were doing some deep research about yourself and asked it to pull out links, it would probably link back to things like the paper. Yeah. This is all about building like a digital footprint for you and you curating what's in that. It's like it's like boosting your personal brand.
Love that.
Can I wrap up with like my favourite story of all time?
You can.
I know you need to see this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
What is it?
Top story for me. Yeah. This made it onto page 4, by the way, of the South Wales Argus. It is like a half-page advert. Oh no, it's like a full page. Apart from the like recliner chair in the corner, it's like a full-page advert for Churchill's fish and chip bar in Risca. Linda, their team member, Linda, oh bless her, Linda's name's been spelt with an L-I and an L-Y.
Oh.
Is she Linda or Linda? Anyway, Linda, oh that's so bad. Linda celebrates 30 years serving at Popular Chippy.
Wow.
So it's a story celebrating that Linda has worked there for 30 years.
Is she retiring?
No, she's just been there for 30 years.
Oh, she's still going.
And she knows lots of people in the community focus, good news story, employment for a long time. But to me, the real story here is that the fish and chip bar has just been taken over in the last year or two by another company. And there is a quote in here with, they do other like good things. They have a mill and coffee morning and things like that. But there's also a quote from the new owner talking about the change of ownership and also just celebrating Linda and her sort of milestone birthday.
So there's a business undertone.
Totally a business.
Everything.
It's a plug for the business.
Yeah.
It's free advertising.
People are going to want to go and be served by Linda.
I want to be served. I might go there.
And you need to ask her how her name's spelt.
I think it's L-Y. It says L-Y everywhere apart from in the headline.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah. But I'm really pleased for her.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have to be difficult. It is for us.
Yeah.
We just got to think about this. And I think this is the thing, like we're finance people. We're not necessarily writing people. And I think we often think that like, oh, that's not my thing. But if you, I mean, we've got so many AI tools that can support us with this anyway.
Yes.
But, just think about it. Start getting these local magazines and papers and just thinking, is there actually a space in here for me? Because I'm sure that, people need to know about what I do.
I can't wait to start seeing in our community, the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club, people sharing their segments in local newspapers.
I love that. Yeah. Let us know. Maybe under this video, if you have been featured in local press, share a link for us underneath in the comments.
Love that.
Love it.